up, people? What's good? Salute, salute.
Yes, sir.
Yo, what's good, everybody? Salute to the tribe. We're hip hop and comics and hip hop. We're a niche channel. We're a niche channel. Reserved for the best is super dope. I do sell comics. Check me out on Instagram at @6th_element_comic. We do live auctions, live claim sales. I rock with Tooth and Claw, hit animated television series. The Scotty Young joint, blowing up fast. X-23. So this is dope, man. All right, so this is beautiful. I love that part where he says, I rock with Tooth and Claw. It's hilarious. Shout out to my man Ali ALC for hooking up that. He took like a bunch of sound bites from different shows and stuff and put it together. And I guess he chopped that up, but that was pretty dope. But yeah, shout out to Ali ALC. Hopefully we'll have him back on here sooner or later. But this is the Sixth Element of Hip Hop. I'm your host Reno. My co-host Stu Dog is here. We about to chop it up about Animal Castle, the new hype, the new hot indie. You know, the next something is killing children, stray dogs, whatever have you. Shout out to Slick Nick in the building, the House of the Nerd Show. Hello, what's good? So yeah, Stu, we checked out Animal Castle, right? We perused it, we read it, we gave it our best, and it's basically Animal Farm. It's almost a sequel to Animal Farm, but the thing is about this comic is it's blown up, like it's huge. And I guess they kind of, I don't know if they're playing off the hype of stray dogs, you know what I mean? Like coming up with this, because now all of a sudden this is a $30 book and issue 2 isn't even out yet. But you can't find issue 1 anymore for less than $30.
Yeah, $30. I've seen 60. Yeah, I've seen 60 on the internet. Wow, like $60. Okay, the cover you just showed. I saw that's one of the variant covers. That's a $60 cover right there. Yeah.
That's the A joint right there. And what, it's we're here to find out if it's all hype or if it's good, or if it's really as good as they're, as it's being made out to be.
Right.
Basically you got a castle that is a farm that we see the animals living and acting as humans might. But justice in this kingdom is very harsh, and you got the dogs who are the army or the police of the kingdom, and they're very cruel and oppressive. We got animals working hard to live and survive and being oppressed by by the dogs and the rooster and the president and all of these guys. So it's very much like George Orwell's great classic American novel Animal Farm in that respect. Did you read Animal Farm, Stu?
Twice. Yes, sir.
Twice. So you like this?
Yeah. Well, I was forced to read it twice because I had to read it. I read it in college, and then I read it again. Well, I read it first time in, I think it was in high school, junior high. I think it was junior high, high school. No, high school. I read it in high school, and then I read it again in college. Animal Farm was good, man. It was basically, a pig named Napoleon didn't like how the farmer treated the animals there. Like, he felt that they were always oppressed and that they were always, like under the thumb of the human. And he preached he talked a good talk to them. And the animals rose up, overthrew the farmer and the humans on the farm, chased them out of there. They took over the farm. But then as time goes on, the oppressed became the oppressors. And the pigs were very smart, and Napoleon was the lead pig. He started being oppressive and different things of that nature, which led to another uprising of the animals fighting the animals. It's basic, right? When you break it down, is George Orwell wrote it. He wrote it to be a play on the formation of modern day Russia,
Soviet Union.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So, he wrote it to be a play on that. it's a very good book if you can't read it. I mean, if you can read it, but comparing it to Animal Castle, is there's some parallel similarities there. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Me personally, it's more Animal Castle is more visual, whereas in Animal Farm, you gotta use your imagination because there are no pictures. So you know what I
Right.
mean, right? But it's a
Comic
good book.
versus
Animal
versus
Farm,
novel.
right? Comic versus novel, right? Because like in the beginning of Animal Castle, they show a hen and she was
Right.
hiding an egg. She was hiding
Right.
an egg, and she got tried and convicted of
Stealing her own egg.
stealing her own egg, which is her egg. Like that's her egg. But
Mhm.
they have a law saying that everybody has to contribute, and that's part
Right.
of the contribution. The leader of Animal Castle is a bull named Silvo. I think his name is Silvo, and the dogs
Yeah.
are like his
That's right.
army. They're like his enforcers, and
Mm-hmm.
they enforce the law. So but Silvo he rules the place with an iron hoof instead of iron fist.
Mm-hmm.
He rules the place with an iron hoof,
Yeah.
and law is law, and they give nobody second chances. Nobody gets anything, but it's the same thing like as an Animal Farm. That you know, the oppressed become the oppressors, and
Mm-hmm.
so that since, but then a rat comes along and he's going to teach them. I guess in second issue number two, he's going to teach the animals that look like you're being oppressed. Like you might think this is good because this is what you're used to, but this
Yeah.
ain't freedom. Like
Yeah.
it's more one of those things where you might think you're free, but you're not free.
Right.
So,
It's the basic.
um,
It's the classic story, the classic oppression story.
right,
We have, and like you said, they start off with the chicken. Adelaide, she's on trial for stealing her own egg, and then you can see here in the picture, you got the rooster, and he commands the dogs to bite, and they
yeah,
attack and rip her to shreds. And with that, everyone watches that, and so you got the goose and the cat, Miss B, and the goose is pissed off Rip. She tells Miss B, remember this day, remember, and then Miss B's like, what, the day that Adelaide died? And she says, no, this is the last day we did nothing about it. So already in this you know supposed like Animal Farm sort of sequel, maybe in this one the animals just start out pissed already. There's not a lot of slow acclimation to the society. As in the novel, they get right to the point, and then we
right,
see the daily life of Mrs. B, the main character, the cat, and you know she she has this job. She's got to carry this big rock up to the top of the castle, and they get it up to the top, and it's not going to fit. And the dogs are like, no, fuck that. You got to fit it in there anyway. Just put it in there. We got one day to do this. You got to do it. Cat puts it in there, and of course it falls out and almost kills this duck. And the dogs are like, oh, fuck him. He's a duck. We got plenty of those. Let's let him die. And the cat's like,
yeah,
no,
they do, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they
yeah.
do,
And the cat's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
Miss B runs down and saves the duck out of the goodness of her heart. And then she's told that it's her fault the stone didn't fit and she isn't getting paid and she gets all the blame and goes home empty handed with no food, no money for food, no food for the buttons or buttons rather for the food because they have a currency that's
yeah. They got a
but
currency system buttons, yeah,
yeah. But she's got no buttons because they didn't pay her. And the goose is like, all right, well, I got some money, I got some buttons saved up. I'll take care of us. And they go over to the place, where they eat and stuff like that. And the goose pays for food, security's there, and the dog's giving this speech about how everyone is so great and understanding how the oppression is their security, right? That old story
right,
that we kind of get with our own government who gives us all this, surveillance and privacy, infringement, but in the name of our security, right? So we accept it. And the security, he tells like a story like there's this wolf that attacked last night, and that attack would have been far more fatal if we weren't there to stop it. We only lost like 7 ducks, like we could have been worse, kind of thing.
right. We didn't lose 12 ducks.
Right, right. But because of this now we're gonna have to save more rations and food's gonna be more scarce. So we gotta cut back, conserve, and then the goose, she's pissed off, she loses her shit. She goes on a tirade about her buttons are good money and how can they say but we can't buy more food with her money? And this kind of sets off a big riot. and they, everybody's going crazy, and the dogs try to quell the riot. One dog gets killed by the bull, and Miss B takes her kittens and runs off and hides, and the dogs, go to chase her. We're gonna kill you. We're gonna eat your kittens, and they chase her down. And this is like a sort of a follow up to Orwell's Animal Farm. So if you're a fan of that book, this would be a good comic for you. The art is amazing. I'm not gonna front. This is like almost like this really reminds me of like Robin Hood. The
Yeah.
foxes, Disney Robin Hood,
Yep.
with the foxes and all of that. Don Bluth type art. So the art is good, but honestly, like keep it up all the way a buck. I wish this issue was better. It's not bad, but it's definitely it does well in efficiently establishing the setting, right? The animals live in an unequal society with the president on top, the roosters at second, commands the militaristic dogs that are third, and then everyone else is on the bottom. But it's also interesting to note that all the oppressors are male, and the oppressed are mostly smaller animals and herbivores and prey animals. And it's a good way to highlight the power imbalance even more, to show that inequality in this world is beyond societal, but physically entrenched in the animal's DNA, right? It shows like the dogs are gonna oppress the cats and the ducks and the bird, right? So, and no evolution or rather revolution will ever change that. And it's an interesting take that's definitely different from George Orwell's metaphor of using pigs as the ruling class. There's also some finer details, like the fact that the dogs are referred to by their number instead of the name, their name, which objectifies them even more than the working class. But they're just tools used by the president that get fed a little better, right? So, but despite that, like I said, the art, the letters, very Disney-esque. I think it was meant to serve as a foil for the brutality that happens in the story, right? Kind of you know, take you away from that a little bit and not make it quite so gruesome. But I feel like it takes away from the scenes like that, the kind of Don Bluthy animation. Maybe it's meant to show how people generally try to view the world, right? Everyone tries to see that everyone's happy, everybody's generally nice, everyone's inherently good, but bad times fade and good triumphs over evil, and but only to give us a world where that isn't the case. Uh, and if that is the case, that's pretty cool, and it's a unique way to make commentary on the world and inequality in a way that only comics can do. But
Right.
oftentimes it feels like many emotional adult scenes aren't as strong as they should be because of the art. If you see what I'm saying, like it feels harder to take the adult content seriously when you're looking at
Animals.
Disney, Disney animals,
Yeah.
right, right. But the plot is sort of predictable and simple. I think I've seen enough inequality stories around these days, especially now, whether it's through the news or opinion posts, the internet, social media, that basically follow this plot line. The oppressors are unjust, the oppressed revolt, and they're rewarded, or more likely shut down until the next revolution. But this probably sounds like a generalist argument because it is. All stories really are stripped down to the barest parts. They're all the same. Like it's the hero faces the challenge, right? Well, we were
Right.
talking about the hero's journey, right? The other day, that sells more books. But obviously, not all stories are the same. It's the finer details that make the difference. So, I tried looking at the smaller details to see if it was really worth anything, if this was really, that great of a book, or what was the hype around it. And it wasn't. Not really. For all the detailed world building the story gives us, it doesn't feel like there was enough character development for me to care about the main character enough, whose name is Miss B. Which
Mhm.
Daisy. I remember Daisy a lot, but I kind of kept forgetting Miss B. It's just a horribly generic name that's fitting for a less than special character. And I'm sure it could have been maybe it is a great character. We just don't know yet. They didn't give us enough. You got 9 pages devoted to the last scene, which makes sense. It's the climax of the issue with plenty of action, suspense, but it wasn't as impactful because of the lack of character development. Like it would have been really, heavy if I really cared about these characters more. as little as Miss B is developed, supporting characters have developed even less, and so their relationships with each other are nothing. You know what I mean? Like it's not. I just don't care, and it's simply hard to empathize with characters I don't really care about, much less know well at all. But maybe again, maybe this is purposeful. Maybe these characters are like victims of oppression in real life, and me not caring about victims, I don't know about proves if it proves I'm a bad person with very little empathy and shouldn't be a part of a utopian society. But I don't know them. You know what I mean? You can't really you can care so much about people you don't know, but if you don't really know about them or know them well, you're not going to care as much.
You're gonna care,
Um,
right?
yeah, and the creative team, do they really want me to think about the characters, or is it supposed to make me feel bad about who I am? I doubt that it's that deep, but what's more likely is that one of those stories that start slow and get better later on, building, the characters and the plot over time. Hopefully this is that. We're just looking at a very, you know, foundational sort of thing, but I would have liked to see them develop these characters more, make me care about them more. Because again, this is like a rehashing of the oppression story. Like it's not even trying to hide. Like it's Animal Castle, right? It's not even trying to hide from being another animal farm. So they really got to do something special, you know, to grab me,
To
to make
make
me
it,
feel like
yeah,
this is
to
different,
make it special.
to make it special, to make me really want this, to want to read the next one and the next one, the next one. But yeah, I don't know. It's eh, it's mad hype around this book. You know what I'm saying? Like I've read some books recently that are great, that are amazing, and should have all the hype and the popularity this one's getting. But again, I think this is something like, and in the comments, if you guys are fans of Animal Castle, let me know what you guys think about it or what you feel
Now,
is.
do you think it's just the hype of the authors that really pushed the book, to where it's at,
Well,
more than the story?
I never heard of
I
these
never
authors.
heard of them. I never heard of them either.
Yeah,
But
I don't know.
you never know. They might have wrote something else. I was looking to see if I could find anything else they wrote
Yeah,
to see if it was
I don't know. I didn't find anything else that they were that's a popular thing that anybody knows about.
right.
I think I mean, we just had this we still have, but Stray Dogs came out and was huge, and is another comic where it's like anthropomorphic, animals as the humans, animals being the main characters kind of thing. And it's decent, but mainly hype. You know what I'm saying? Like those covers, the Stray Dogs covers, they would do homages to horror movies. Like they would take a horror movie poster that you know very well, like Silence of the Lambs or something, and they
Right.
just replace the humans with dogs and stuff like that in the picture. And that'd be their cover.
Mhm.
So everybody wanted to collect these great, horror movie homage covers, and there was this big rush to get them, and they were wildly popular. Recently, just in the sort of the towards the end of 2021 there, but I feel like this is maybe people thinking that it's going to be the next Stray Dogs. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know why people are buying this up like that, and why this first issue is so valuable off top already.
Listen. I'm trying to figure it out myself.
I can't
The book
figure
was
it out.
okay. Listen, like I can't say it was the greatest book I ever read. I can't
Right.
say it was like like I can't even say like I wouldn't even say like go get it. But I could tell you it was entertaining to read.
Yeah.
Like you said, the supporting characters are like Yeoman Johnson on Star Trek. You
Right.
know they're gonna die. The main characters gonna live, and the supporting characters are gonna be the ones to die.
Yeah.
It's just for a dramatic effect. But in my opinion, if I had to choose between Animal Farm and Animal Castle, I would go with Animal Farm only because it's just so much more detailed. The story is just so much more like they like when Orwell wrote Animal Farm, he kind of thought that out. Like pigs are naturally smart. Like pigs have the intelligence of a child, so they're
Right.
naturally smart like humans. Like they have they're problem solving intelligent. And I think that when he did that, he thought that out because like in this book, the bull is the leader. and the dogs are his
Mhm.
enforcers. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like where as in the pigs, just they are naturally smarter than the other
Yeah.
animals. So like
Oh, yeah, for
in
sure.
in in Animal Farm, a lot of times when the other animals would kind of buck up or raise up or just speak up on something, the pigs were so smart. They would kind of talk them out of it. They had gifted gab because they were smarter. But
Mm,
then after a while, it just didn't work on it. They just didn't, the other animals just didn't want to hear it anymore. They were like, nah, wait. And the lead pig's name is Napoleon. So
man.
that goes to
See, now
show
in
you.
this, instead of, outsmarting the oppressed, they're just using brute force, just dogs against prey animals,
All right.
right? Like, if you buck, we're just gonna eat you kinda thing, instead of, like, we're gonna, go in your mind and, shift shit around and make you see shit a different way.
Right.
What do you okay, so when did he write this book? Do you know offhand?
45, I think. 1945.
Wow, okay, so oh, wow, so this was during Hitler. This was during
Yeah.
pretty much
It
well, yeah,
was
World War II is what, 48, 40. I don't know.
45, 40. It
I
ended
didn't
in 45.
really? I thought it was
Started,
48.
yeah.
Okay. So
No, ended in 45.
okay. Well, the, uh the pigs, like, do you think okay, see, I always thought that they were using the pigs like the way the Black Panthers used the pigs, by
Mm.
calling the cops pigs or, the oppressors
Oh,
pigs. You know what I
nah,
mean?
the pigs were just the smartest. Nah, the pigs were the smartest animals on the farm. When you read the
Okay.
book, he breaks down the different hierarchy in the animals intelligence
Mm,
wise before they
mm,
even rise up and overthrow the farmer. Orwell breaks down how the pigs are smart, like how smart they are. He breaks down how they're manipulative, like they can talk and manipulate you with words. You know what I mean?
right.
And just how they're just problem solving intelligent. But naturally, pigs are intelligent. They are naturally
Very
intelligent.
intelligent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so he breaks that down in the beginning of the book. And then when everything unfolds, you see why the pigs rode to power, like why the pigs rose to power so fast and was able to have a grip on the farm the way they did because they were smarter than the other animals. You
Right.
know, it's like, you slick nigga off the chain, man. Thank you, sir. Um, when you read the book, you see that. Like you really see it unfold
Right.
and then you see it to where it gets to the point where it's just blatant. And then the
Mhm.
other animals are like, all right, like look, like you pissing on my boots and you telling me it's raining.
Right.
But now, not only are you pissing on my boots, but you just pissing on my raincoat too now
All over.
and telling me it's
Yeah.
raining. Right. So now I know, that you guys are basically doing this to get as much out of it as you can for yourselves. And then we're doing all the work, we're doing this, we're doing that. Matter of fact, at one part of the book, the pigs move into the farmhouse,
Mm.
and no other animals they don't live in the farm, but the pigs
Right.
are in there. And so that was kind of like they weren't in the stable or they were living it up. So
And so it's an
it's a good book.
abandoned yeah, yeah. Oh, it's a classic. I mean,
Well, no,
it's very
the farm it had humans, it had a farmer. It was
oh,
raising
okay.
animals, and they rebelled, and they just like the pigs planned out the whole rebellion, how it was gonna go, what they were gonna do, trap like they had it all planned out.
Oh, so they revolted
And
against
because it all worked against the farmer that owned the farm.
okay.
And
I haven't read
then
it. I haven't read it in well, I did. I like you said, I read it for high school, but I don't remember. I remember the basics,
yeah,
but I don't remember like you did.
yeah. Well, Napoleon, he came up with this idea of how to get him out. I mean, they used I think like the horse kicked the guy in the chest or something like that. It was
Mhm.
crazy. And the farmer ran away. All the people that lived on the farm, they all ran away. They never came back. So the animals was like, look, we got this. And the pigs basically, took like it was instead of making it like a democratic society where it's like, all right, we'll vote and see who the leader's gonna be. Pigs
Right.
just declared themselves leaders, you know,
Right.
and that's
Right.
that's where the first
That's what
instance started.
Stalin did.
Right,
Or yeah,
right,
or Marx did it first, I think. Or Lenin. Yeah, Lenin.
Lenin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lenin
because after
Lenin
World,
and then
yeah,
Stalin.
yeah, because after World War II, Russia was pretty broken, and
Right.
so somebody had to take over. So smartest, they were looking at the war heroes
Right.
as their political figures,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they did. They became political, and they started the society and ran it the way they saw fit. Same thing the
Right.
pigs did. That's why the pigs dressed in that Marxist outfit that he has on,
Right.
like a
Right.
communist type outfit that he has. But to me,
Yeah.
it's more like a mix between communism and Nazism. That what he, and I think
Yeah.
George Orwell was trying to convey that in the story. Whereas, in no matter how much you might want, like you look at the American public, people don't understand democracy for what it is. And I
Right.
really think when we elected Donald Trump as president, a lot of people that voted for him missed that part of the democratic process in history class,
Yeah.
because you got to think, you when you think about it, he was up there hollering, "Oh, I could go a third term. Why can't I get a
Right.
third term?" Like,
Yeah.
he was hollering a lot of stuff, and then he even incited a coup to try to overthrow the democratic process.
See
Now,
him
we
alone?
saw it unfold on TV. We watched the whole
Raid the
thing.
fucking Capitol. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw it unfold. We watched the whole thing go down, and then all of a sudden, like, he did exactly what the pigs did, and what civil does, the bull. He threw a lot of rocks, and he hit his hands, and that's basically what you have. Like, Donald Trump did a lot of rock throwing, and he did a lot of, "Oh, it wasn't me," or you
Right.
know. But if you already have a process in place, how can you sit there and say, "Oh, it doesn't work," when it worked for you? Like,
Mm-hmm.
when Obama got elected president, the first person to holler out that he was an illegitimate president was Donald Trump. Says he wasn't legitimate. He didn't have a birth
Mm-hmm.
certificate. He didn't have
Right.
this. He didn't do that.
Right.
But it was a fair election. But when Donald Trump got elected, we knew there was Russian collusion. We knew that there were, yeah, tomorrow, yeah, it's the anniversary, yeah. So we knew that there was collusion. We knew
Mm-hmm.
Russians influenced the election. We
Right.
knew they used social media to influence people to vote for the man.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, now you got to ask the question yourself: are you really a legitimate president? Were you really legitimate? I
Yeah.
mean, you question somebody else,
Yeah.
was their legitimacy. Now let's question your
Right.
legitimacy.
How
But then when it
legitimate.
came time to right, when it came time to step down, they don't want to step down. And it's the same
Yeah.
thing with the
He
pigs.
want to give it up. Yeah.
Right. When they didn't want to give up power. And
Do
what
the
you got
same
to people
thing.
when
And in
right, what
Russia,
people
Stalin, like
right,
that dude, they gave this dude the power, and then
they didn't want
he
to give
took
it up.
over, and then it was the oppressors that became the oppressed, or rather vice versa, the oppressed that became the oppressor.
Same thing with Putin now. Putin took power.
Mhm.
He used to be old KGB. He
Right.
got he well, he slid it through the ranks and got the power and didn't give it up. And
Mhm.
now he's the ruler of Russia,
Yeah.
where until he's pretty young too, so he's gonna be in there for a while.
Yeah.
So until
Yeah, exactly.
so until
Like my
yeah, so
grandkids gonna
until
know Putin. Yeah.
they're gonna know exactly who Putin is. Yeah, it's gonna be that
Mhm.
he's gonna be in there that long. Same thing with Kim
Yeah.
Jong Un. It's the
Right.
same thing. But it's all political.
They're
It's
lifelong
all
leaders and shit. Like, come on.
yeah, it's all
That shit is
political, bro.
old, man. Lifelong leaders,
Yeah,
that shit is old, bro.
right. And we don't do that here in this country.
We
We
don't
don't
do that in
have
this country.
we don't have lifelong leaders. We vote. And like I said, when Trump got elected, we voted. That's what we
Hey,
got. We
that's what
got
we
that for
got.
4 years. But you better do a good 4 years because you can get voted out.
Right. And I wouldn't give it up for the world. Like, I wouldn't give up that for the world. Like, that's America. You know, yeah, it means sometimes, sorry, excuse me. It means sometimes we're going to have presidents we might not like, but that's okay because we chose them.
Right. Well,
And
people say
when they suck, we choose someone else.
we choose right.
That's the big thing.
Because like a lot of minorities say, "Oh, my vote don't matter. Oh, my vote don't count." Yeah,
Mhm.
it does count because if you got to think about it like this:
It does.
if the presidential election goes down and it's like a close race, think about how many people didn't vote that had voting rights.
Yeah.
Had y'all just went out and voted, this person wouldn't have got in. So your vote does matter and it does count.
Yeah.
But the real power isn't in the presidency. The real power is in Congress. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? like, in the Senate. And you're right, they do have. Well, we still got to vote in Congress and senators.
Right.
It's just that
But
you
look at
know,
what's his name? What was that dude? The old cat. Fuck. He passed out one time. What was his name? Goddamn.
passed out.
Old head. He was like 100 and something. Oh
Bernie
fuck.
Sanders.
Nah. Way older than that. Not a president. He was like a congressman. Oh fuck. Nah, not
Passed
McConnell.
out.
Yeah, like he fell
Uh,
out. Oh fuck.
He
I
said
keep
not
thinking
McConnell.
Stein. I keep thinking Stalin,
McConnell's
but
pretty. McConnell's pretty old too.
yeah. But
Who is a
nah, this
congressman?
dude. Fuck. Why can't I think of him now?
Was he
Damn it.
congressman or a
Because I'm thinking
senator?
of Stalin, and his name has a ST sound. I think this has been a while though.
Was it a senator or
I'm trying to find it now. Damn, old dude. He was like the oldest
she
dude
that
in
old?
government. He was mad. He was like the oldest guy in government. He was famous for how old he was.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't know who I'm talking.
I'm trying to think. He said he was super. He was one of the oldest ones.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking. I'm trying to see if I could look it up. Damn, what was his name? Yeah, Bernie Sanders, Mitch McConnell. Nah, what's this guy's name?
Sanders is up there. Mitch McConnell's up there too.
I think this dude
is old.
died. I think he died like a few, decade ago or something. It's been a while, but it was a big deal about how old he was. And they were like, this dude ain't gonna like never leave. And he fell over and shit on the floor, like on the Senate floor or wherever he was.
Yeah.
And they picked him
You
up.
know what state he was from?
Yeah, that's the question. Hold on, let me plug in my internet is fuzzing up. I got a hard line on my internet. Forgot to plug him in.
Yeah, so being is that we elect senators and
was like
congressmen
Stalin.
every year. A lot of people just don't realize when it's time to vote. Go out and vote, man. Just go out and vote. You got to pick the lesser of two evils. You know what I mean? That's just what it's all about.
Unfortunately, that's usually what it is. Usually the lesser of two evils. But Animal Castle, Animal Castle is in my opinion, it's like a cheap version of Animal Farm because it's just so surface based level. Like the oppressors are dogs, the oppressed are cats. Versus
Right.
the intelligent animals are outsmarting the not so intelligent or talking them, out talking them or using their gift of gab and their charisma to over, to gain power. But this is just strength, brute force kind of power in this in Animal Castle. So it's much lower brow, I guess you would say.
Oh, lower brow. Yeah, because I mean, when you think about it, man, like you said, it is a direct play on Animal Farm, man. It really is. Very visual. Same premise. Just different setting. Instead of a farm, it's a castle. And they have a hierarchy, whereas in the pigs just rule absolute. And they push their agenda the whole time, man. Until everybody just was like, wait a minute, like y'all eating and we not, and we not eating. And we see food, like we see food there, and y'all telling us we can't have it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's what they were saying basically. Like, we're gonna limit the amount of food we'll sell you, kind of thing.
Right. And that's a form of oppression in itself and control.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. He said we only got so much, so we might only want to sell the Reno today. maybe a few other squackers, but after that, we don't have no more food. But you know, it's
Right.
more. And people have buttons, like so. We got. I don't know, man. So you say you're not hyped for issue 2?
I mean, I'm not hyped for it. I'm not excited for it. Uh, I'll check it out because I'm hoping that this gets better or you know develops, you know, bigger or better or more interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's whack because it's not whack. I mean, it's not a garbage book or anything like that by any means. It's decent. I mean, it's got merits. But I guess
Right,
my thing was I wanted to find out, is it live up to the hype? Is it as good as its popularity? You know what I mean?
right.
So and I think no. I think its popularity is its appeal. Like it's just popular and just cause it's not that great. It's not great.
But not as great as you thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, it's just not great. It's
A
not
lot of
as
hype.
great as they act like it is. It's not as great as
Right.
it's selling to be. It's not as great as issue 1 is already $30 when issue 2 ain't even dropped yet. Like, come on, like it's already going up in value. That's hype. That's the definition of hype. Like I was like, man, this comic must be groundbreaking, right? It must be incredible, like for it to explode like that and be, have issue 1 already being resold for $30 and $40. It's like,
Yeah. And they think
yeah,
about making a second printing, things of that nature. Yeah.
right, yeah, and,
I
and
get it.
issue 2, I don't is issue 2 out? I don't know. I don't even think issue 2 is out.
I don't think it's out yet. Let me see. I'll tell you
Out.
right
It
now.
either came out today or it's like next week or something.
It might have came out. Um, let's
And I
see.
apologize if you're watching this and I don't know that if issue 2 is out or not, but again, like I said, this was not one that I, you know, am hunting down. I kind of lost.
I think it might be out. Yeah. No, it's not out yet. Goes on sale January 19th.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I knew that this part 1 had just come out, so I didn't think it was out. But yeah. I mean,
I mean, I'm looking at it on eBay. It's up there.
yeah,
It's up there. And
and
you
it's
got people selling issue 2 already.
pre-order. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Yeah, $40 for number 1. A and B set. $24 for yeah. Yeah, it's that comic's up there. Here's somebody
From Thurman.
got all 5 covers. I see all 5 covers for $90.
Wow.
Now there is a cover. This cover is dope. There is a cover on there. It's the let me see.
Yeah, and there's always gonna
Felix
be variant
Felix
covers.
Delipi, the Felix Delipi 110 incentive variant cover 21 and please. Now this cover I'm not gonna lie, I would pay $34 for this because
It's
this is
dope.
phenomenal. Yeah, it's phenomenal. Yeah, this
And
cover
that's
is
what? That's the what? The Levy? Levy?
Felix Delipi DELEPE 110 variant, 110 incentive variant. I mean that look dope. I mean I would pay for that. That's yeah, that's yeah, yeah. That look
Felix
like art.
Elite, 1 in
Yeah, that look
10.
like
Wait a
that look
minute.
like
Yeah,
it's
the
the
one.
same one you got, but it's just
Oh,
you know,
it's the version
looking
of,
at the
of
book.
the cover A.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it's the verse. That's what I said. It looked like art. The way they got it set up. It's no
Yeah,
words at the top, no nothing. It just look like
that's
art.
the virgin variant. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's
a
the
version. Yeah,
virgin
that
variant.
joint like straight art.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. It's a great cover, and like I said, the art in this is quality. Like this is real quality art, but in my opinion, it doesn't really fit the content. Uh, unless, like I said, they were doing some art. They purposely were like, let's make this really fucked up and gruesome, sort of book, but let's color. Let's paint it. Let's do the art like fucking Don Bluth. You know what I mean? Just make it Disney-fied, but and maybe that's what they were doing, but I wouldn't have went that route. I would have went more of a darker. I mean, if you're trying to capture Animal Farm, they should have done a more darker, serious. I don't know, but we'll see where it goes. But yeah, I just had to get into this book, man, and see, because you know, I'm in the comic business, and so I see all the time new books come out, and certain comics just skyrocketing in value, and the
Okay.
variants, the Virgin variants, and all this, and some variants come out. They come out as $35 books. That's how they come out to the market. They come out, and there's $100 ones that come out. The 1 in 200 incentives where the comic shop has to buy 200 copies of the regular comic just to get one copy of this particular variant, right? So for every 200 copies of the regular one they order, they get one copy of the 1 in 200 incentive. The 1 in 10 incentive that you're looking at, that is, they have to buy 10 copies of the regular book to get that one copy of that 1 in 10 incentive. So that's what the ratios mean. So, but anymore, it's got to be a 1 in 100 or 1 in 200 to be, for anybody to really give a shit.
Right.
But,
That's true.
yeah, but
That's true.
I see these things happen. I see these books come out of nowhere, and I sort of got into the business around the time of Something Is Killing the Children and Department of Truth, and we only find them when they're dead, and certain of these comics that they're new, they're indie, and they're the most valuable new shit out. Like Something Is Killing the Children books, being worth hundreds and $1,000 for just issue 1.
They're up there. Like,
Whereas Spawn number
they've
1 is still $50 or what, you know
right.
what I mean? $60. That's what's crazy to me.
Yeah. Well, man, that's just the biz, man. That's what
Yeah,
it is. What it is.
it's just
But
a, it's
moving,
just
but
a bit. But yeah,
touching
now
on something, not one to get off subject. Did you listen to Nas's new album that dropped Friday?
that just
It's
dropped
called,
Friday.
I think it was Friday.
Oh
It's
no,
called
no,
Magic.
no! I
And
haven't
it
heard
is
that
magic.
yet.
And it is magic.
I haven't heard it yet.
Nine
It's on.
tracks of hotness.
It's on my
9
plans.
tracks.
It's on my. Well, let's
Yeah,
talk
9
about that
tracks.
Monday then. Let's talk about that
Oh,
Monday.
okay. You sure now? Because that's 9 tracks of hotness right there.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that Monday. Who's coming?
Yeah, it was.
We got Comic Isle Corporation coming Monday to talk about the new comic selling platform that's going to be the next Whatnot, right, or something
Right.
like that. So he's going to come in and talk and explain all that and break down the new platform that's about to explode onto the industry, right? But it's still hip hop and comics, so we're gonna still have to talk some hip hop. So we'll definitely talk the new Nas album. Give me the rest of the week to listen to it. You cannot, people, critics, stop it with the fucking reviews the day the album comes out. Give me a fucking break. You need to marinate with an album. You need to listen to it for days. You cannot just hear the album once, A through Z, and now I'm gonna write a fucking review and break it all the way down. You can't. You cannot know a piece of music until you've heard it a bunch of times. Till you let it sink in. Let it grow on you. Let it become what it is. You know what I mean? Because when you first hear a song, I don't care if it's the greatest hit, like Thriller. When you first heard Thriller, it was cool, but it was the second time, and it was when it was hype, and it was when everyone was talking about it, and it was like, this is the biggest hit in the world. That's when it was really good. You know what I mean? But the first time you hear something, you don't know yet. You gotta let those sounds sink in. You gotta hear it again. So give me a few days. Few days. Salute Corey Adger.
Correct. Yeah, but I listened to it.
Give me till Monday.
All right. It's good. How'd you like that Dr. Dre joint I sent you? You had a few days with that.
Yeah.
You had a few days with that.
Here's the thing. here's the thing. Dre did the Chronic, right? So it wasn't until the Chronic 2000 that he put out something else that was, you know, maybe not as good, but it's up there. It's monumental. Chronic 2000 was great. That's a classic right there.
Oh,
But then it's
definitely.
like the next thing he puts out, I'm wanting it to be something like that. You know, it's got to be the next Chronic when I look for a Dre, and this was just not.
Okay.
It was not
So
wildly
you're
impressive.
saying
It was good
you want
music. It was all good
you
music.
gotta hold it. You gotta hold it to that higher standard.
My bar for Dre is way the
You know
fuck
what I
up
mean?
there.
So it's
You
here.
know,
Okay.
it's kind of, look, when you put out something like the Chronic, that's trouble, man, because you got to be able to keep that up, and
Chronic
that's
was dope, bro.
Chronic, man.
That was dope. That album came from nowhere too, man. Dre just dropped that
Changed the
joint, man.
game. It changed the game.
It just blew all the way up. That's when we
Yeah,
first heard Snoop. That's when we got
yeah.
Snoop. All that, man. Yeah,
And
that
Doggy
joint was
Style is, I feel, the Chronic part two. Like Doggy Style, it's the Chronic too. Like they kind of both dropped around the same time, and they were just as powerful and as big and as good as each other. And like most of the same rappers were on there on both of them.
I
So,
didn't. You know what? When I first heard Doggy Style, I wasn't really feeling it, bro.
or
It was like you said. I had to marinate in it for a little
yeah,
bit. I think maybe I
for a
might have
little
listened to it like I listened to it, and then I was like, all right, it's all right. And then I might have heard it twice. And one day I don't know what I was doing. I just popped it in, really sat down, checked it out, and I was like, you know what, this joint was all right, man. This joint was
bro.
really
Doggy
dope.
Style is fucking a classic.
Oh, it is.
Snoop's look, the reason Snoop Dogg is Snoop Doggy Dogg. He's the most, one of the probably the biggest known name in rap across the world. It's because of Doggy Style.
Yeah,
I
bro.
ain't listen. I'm gonna keep it all the way a buck. Snoop did something on Doggy Style that he has not been able to do again. Like he
That's
has
true.
not been able to recreate that
Yeah, that's true.
quality of lyrics, of
Nah,
songwriting,
songwriting, yeah, beats, production, none of that. Yeah, you're
everything
right
he's
about
done
that.
since Doggy Style. I've been like, it was like Snoop
Yeah,
Dogg. Shit.
yeah.
It's like, yeah,
He
it just
he did
doesn't.
have that. What was that one album he had? Everybody kind of did. I didn't like it too much.
The
It had Drop It
Dogfather.
Like It's Hot. Nah, not that one. The one with
Oh,
Drop It Like
yeah,
It's
the
Hot.
one. Yeah, that was
Blue
a good
Carpet or
track.
something like that.
It had some
Yeah,
new. It had some good track. It was like Pharrell was on there. Drop it like it's hot. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And of
Everybody
course,
liked
I
that.
just copped the
It
new
was
Doggy
coming new
Style,
doggy
keeping
style.
it in the plastic wrapping. The vinyl, I hope. The
You
vinyl,
got
right?
to, bro. The vinyl or
Gotta be the
CD,
vinyl. Yeah, it gotta be the
Corey,
vinyl.
vinyl or CD. I mean, listen, that era of rap, that was just talent, man. Like we were talking Monday, I was telling Grap, like, look, like I understand you was there when they made, you know, uh
Troy
Mecca and the Soul Brother and Troy and
and the
all that.
Myths.
I
Yeah.
get that. But you gotta understand something too. When when you got people that listen to it, like nobody ever asks the regular people what they thought when it came out. Like we always talk to the artists and we
Yeah.
always be like, the artist this, the artist that.
Mhm.
But when we would, like I said, when we heard it, we had never heard nothing like that before. Like hip hop had a certain sound, and even though he was still sampling, it was just a certain sound that was out there. It was dope. It was working. We were all listening to it. But Mecca and the Soul Brother is one of those albums that you could listen to from beginning to end.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
when
yeah.
we heard it, like Grant was saying,
That's
those
how
intro,
albums was.
those intro beats before
Mm-hmm.
he did before the main beat kicked in, like we would be sitting there bobbing our head to that, and then it would be like next thing you know, it'd be like, then that next beat of kicking, you'd be like, man, this is dope, because that style, it was like a jazz funk. Man, I still can't put a finger on it, man.
Yeah.
Like Return to the Mecca. And that was the first track on the album. That joint was tough. And bro, we listened to it. And if you had a good system in your car, like I ain't talking about that factory bull crap. I'm talking about you had a system. Everybody had a system in their car back then. You know what I mean? It was just dope, man. We was like, yo, lots of loving. That was dope. Act like you know. Straighten It Out was the bomb. Straighten It Out came on, man. It was just I don't know, man. Pete Rock got his own sound, and
Yeah.
I appreciate it because, like I
Hell
said,
yeah.
everybody when you get every now and then you're gonna get a producer who got such a unique sound that everybody likes that it
Mm-hmm.
can't be duplicated. Like nobody can
Yeah.
duplicate it.
Premiere.
Nobody can do no, yeah, nobody can do none of that. You know what I mean? But Troy, when he dropped Troy as a single, like we heard it on the album, but the video, once they did the video and all that, reminisce over, like that kind of like threw it over that pushed it all the way over the edge. Like we was
Yeah.
like, yo, like and we loved it, man. Like we loved it, man. Just
Yeah. That
I
was
wish they would
nice.
get back together, man. I really do. Do wish them two would get back together, man. Cause
Oh yeah.
CL Smooth had that. Yeah, CL Smooth had a flow that was just real unique. Like both of them was just unique, man. CL Smooth's flow with those tight beats, that jazz. I don't know, man. I can't even put a finger on it. But it was a dope. It's some of the dopest hip hop I ever heard in my life.
And at the risk, or should I say, at the guarantee of this video not being monetized, we got to show you. Cause listen, man, if you, all right, I think what you're getting at, Stu, and you're absolutely right. Like Grap was in the studio when they was creating Reminisce, right? Troy, he was there. You saw him. He was there in the essence. He was there the first time it got played back, right after it was created. The first time an ear heard it after it was mixed, down. And he described the room being like you could see the music, like just the essence, the ether, right? You could just like it was just something deep, right?
Right.
And I get that. That's a profound thing. But how about the moment the first time I heard it, right? Or the vibe that I was feeling one day in the whip and it was playing and I'm looking out the window or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that profound time where it really hits you and it's big, like it's just as big and just as powerful for us as it was for the artists or for the, people that were
Plus
in
we
the
could
room.
right. Plus we could feel them lyrics. Like when CL Smooth came on, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? 18 years. You know what I mean? When he
Yeah.
talking about his life as a kid and all that, man. Like
Yeah. Talking about what
like
you talking about Troy
a lot
growing
of
up.
us could
Yeah.
he's just growing up. Yeah, like a lot of us could
Big
feel that,
rock
man. Like
tour.
we was feeling
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah, we was feeling that, bro. Like like Mount, like when you like I said, when you go through New York, every borough had their highlights and they had their cream of their crop, man, when it came to artists, man. And money
Mhm.
and Mount Vernon put out a lot of artists, man. It was a lot of
Yeah.
artists came out of Mount
Heavy
Vernon.
D,
Put out
like
Heavy D.
a lot.
Yeah, all of them, man. Man, they put out a lot of good hip hop, bro. And it was
Yeah.
unique. That sound was unique just to that borough. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that's what we got. But like I said, that first album, Pete Rockets, I can listen to that today. And like I said, I listened to that album for 48 hours straight. Literally, that's all we played.
Right.
Like 2, 3 days straight, bro. And I can listen to it now, and it's just as good to me now as it was the first time I ever heard
Yes.
it. Period. Point blank.
Yes.
Can. Just like Wu
Absolutely.
Tang's first album. Just like Wu Tang's first album. Just like uh
Mhm.
Wu Tang's second album. And the third album. No, I'm just but
Yeah. But
yeah,
yeah, like Illmatic, like Southern Playlist, the Cadillac Music, like 36 Chambers. It's so many albums that they'll forever be good. They're timeless. There's never gonna be a time where, you know, we're like, oh, that's played out. Like some shit just don't get played out. Like some
right.
music is played the fuck out. You don't want to hear it again. Like there's a lot of songs that were big hits and you just don't want to hear them anymore. But to me, that's the sign of a great piece of music is that it'll always be great. It'll always feel good to hear it. It'll always be important to you. Like, I mean, you go back, like Al Green, right? Marvin Gaye, shit, Led Zeppelin, right? Pink Floyd, it don't matter. Like,
Good
there's
music is good
songs,
music.
yeah, there's songs by these artists that,
Timeless.
that, that died, right? 40 years ago or 50 years ago, even. And right now, they're still dope tracks because it's good music. Good music
Right.
is timeless. Exactly.
Cause you got the new generation now, the millennials, they don't wanna they try to diss it like the music they grew up on or what they popping now is the best thing that's ever been made or heard. But I always tell my sons this: all music changes, all styles change, everything changes. Nothing stays the same forever.
Mhm.
And I was like,
I
what's
didn't
going
even
to
really
happen
think that.
when?
Like, I knew there was music before our music that was better, you know?
Oh yeah, and we listened to, it, but we never dissed it.
We never
Like you
dissed it.
might play, like I'll play, like if I play something, say if I play Mecca and the Soul, my kids will be like, oh, that's cool.
Oh, I thought you said you was playing Mecca and the Soul Brother.
We can play it. We can get it. We can get it rock. But we'll
No, I'm just playing.
they'll be like, yo, they'll be like, oh, that's smooth, but it's old school. Like
Right,
if I listen to something by Mark, I don't be like Marvin Gaye. Like if I listen to what's going on by Marvin Gaye, I be like, oh, that's cool,
right,
but it's old school. I just be
right,
like, yo, that's a cool song. Like
right.
that
That's
joint
just
is
a good
fire.
ass song.
Right, this is a good song. Right.
But when I was a kid, though, I think I might have said that's old school. It's dope, but it's old school. As I grew up, now I'm old. Yeah, that still was old school to me, but now I don't say that's old. I'm just like, that's just good music. I get it now. But I think when you're
Right.
a kid, you got that ego thing. I think like I have full faith because like even my son, he's 17 years old. He loves Trippy Red and Juice World or whatever, Juice Box or whatever the fuck. They got. I had to throw that. I had to throw that old man. But yeah, MC Juice Box and all of this. But
MC Juice Box. Wow.
nah, Juice World, man. Shout out and God rest the dead, man. Juice World was actually a great artist. I ain't gonna front. But anyway, yeah. So they got their music that they love, but he's still at 17 in high school. He still understands Nas. Like he still likes good music. He still likes the music that I play. He calls it that's he be like this is some of your music, dad, or whatever. But he dig it. He played this in his playlist. He got stuff. So he knows. So I know that when he grows up, he's gonna start to see it that way and not be like, oh, that's old school. He'll just be like, that's just good music. And because it's inevitable. I mean, we all go through it. We all have that.
Right.
We all go through that. And you know, this generation is different. And
It's
maybe
very different.
yeah, and maybe that's because of the internet, social media. It's a different world. I mean, that's a different kind of living. Like this is a different kind of living than what we had.
I get it. Oh, I agree.
Like
Yeah,
like our
100%.
parents had like they it was you kids today and all that. But that has never been more real than now. Because
Oh
now,
yeah.
yeah, the world now is so different. It's like from our world to our parents' world to our grandparents' world, you know, politically, you know, uh,
Socially.
socially, civil rights, things like that have changed a lot. But the internet, social media, the way it's connected the globe, that's something that no past generation has seen yet. That's something that sets it off from any of the past, generations and worlds, that we've life was so simple when we was growing up.
It's true.
We was just yeah, we think the same way. But yeah, that's right. Shout out Corey Adger. That's right. We I think we all every generation sees their generation as better than the next generation or different or you know just better. I think our parents thought theirs was better than ours. I mean rap itself was a new kind of music. That was our new shit. That was our shit. And our parents before us was like, that was garbage to them. That wasn't even music. That was, you know, you know, like that was samples of our great music.
Right, right. Yeah, they
Yeah,
say that. They say that to this
yeah,
day. How could you take
yeah,
something that was already made and then call it music?
right. But we did, and we and
Man, we can,
the proof that it was not a fad is 2022 is still the height of of music.
right.
Hip hop took over, and
That's true.
it still ain't going nowhere. So I'm glad. I'm glad that even though its current popular state, the hip hop of the world, it isn't my
Instead of hip
favorite.
hop, it's
It's
hip
hip hop.
hop.
It's hip hop.
Hip
But
hop.
look, and that's not to say that there's not hip hop. There's still hip hop out here. There's still good art. There's still real artists. There's still real MCs, real producers. There's real shit coming out, and most of it isn't getting the popularity with the young kids. Like the young kids, like what they like. But even some of their artists, like Trippie Redd, he's an artist that lives in that fad hype, now like the real popular shit world. But he injects, he peppers in bars. Like I'll listen to some of the music that my son's playing, and I find myself bobbing my head and listening to the bars, and I'm like, whoa, this cat's actually spit. And I see that, like what he's doing. Like what he's doing is he's putting real shit in there with the bullshit. Much like how Tupac would pepper revolutionism, revolutionary, bars into the gangster shit. You know what I mean? Like he would, like catch your ear with the gangster shit, but call it thug life, but then inject, revolutionary
Revolutionary, yeah.
mind. Yeah, revolutionary mind and stuff. But
That's what we got.
that's what we got.
All
And
right.
it's
That's all I
like
can say.
but we still at the top, so I just hope that this generation don't ruin it for hip hop, because hip hop has been running with the torch for a long time, and there's no reason for it to go anywhere. Like rock and roll doesn't need to become that the it thing again. We had rock and roll for many years, many years. Like rock and roll was the shit from the 50s to the fucking 2000s to the at least to the 90s. Even the
Right.
90s were rock and roll smothered with grunge and Nirvana and alternative
Yeah.
rock and all of that. But then by the time it hit 2000, bro, hip hop was running with the globe
But,
and hasn't
well,
put it down.
grunge, they just never let. You know what it is? It was a lot of old heads that like rock and roll, and they never let it evolve. So, like with grunge, grunge is slow. It's a slow, methodic, guitar riff with some drums, and that's just. And a lot of guys, you would hear a lot of guys on stage. Oh, it's too slow. Why can't you speed it up? Blah blah blah. Well, it don't all have to be fast. That's just
Yeah,
what it is.
yeah,
Then you had sludge metal that came out of grunge. You know what I mean? It's you got to remember, like I said, everything has to evolve. It has to move on. Gotta let creativity be creative, and I see that happening with rap, where it's starting to be less creative. It's starting to be more of let's just copy, 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 copy.
yeah,
Industry push, 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 push. Whatever's hot, 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 hot. That's just what it is, bro.
yeah.
Artists got to go back to being rap has always been that way. It's always been about originality. So hopefully this next set of rap artists we get are just more original than these last ones. Yeah, so
You know
we
what?
live to see.
This is what happens when the fans get to be the rappers, right? Lil Wayne came out, and just around the time that social media came out, and so the fans of Lil Wayne got to record their music on their phones in their home studios and put it on the internet, right on SoundCloud, and everyone can hear it. So the fans of Lil Wayne became the rappers, because then people would listen to that music and think, oh, well, this is rap because this is music because it's here and it's got music sounds to it, and I
He
can play it.
sound like Little Wayne. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and it
And
sounds
we
like
like
something I
Little
heard
Wayne.
before, right? And we like Lil Wayne, so
Mhm.
this must be what it is. And then it ran, and grew steam, and now independent music is the way, to go. Like, you know, signing to a label is like what you don't want to do now. Like in my day, in my day, we wanted to be signed by a
Funny.
label. Yeah, but we wanted to be signed by a label. We wanted to shop our demo tape and get picked up. But now it's like they you just put your own shit out, whether it's garbage or not, and people are gonna like it as long as you
Oh,
chant and you have
well, you know
some
what?
catchy hook,
I always say the same thing. Back in the day, you had those big cigar crunching guys,
right?
munching guys who sat back and be like, Reno, what is this? Like,
Right.
I don't know what it is, but let's
Mr.
just put it
Big,
out anyway. Right? I
right?
don't know.
My
Now you got
stove.
these, right? Now you got these hipsters, these young cats that say, oh, that's not hot, but this is. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like, who are you to determine what's? It's just too many Simon Cowells out there now, and that's the problem. Whereas in back in the, there's too many Simon Cowells. When it was back in the day, the Joker would be like, you know what? I don't know what this is, but we're gonna put it out and see what it does. And then it goes and it blows up, and everybody you like, like Yin Yang Twins. I watched it. I watched the joint with Yin. I never knew that they would never sign to a label. They would never sign to a major label.
Oh,
They said they
really?
did it. They signed to a major label for one album, and then the label kind of they didn't resign them. I ain't gonna say dropped. They didn't resign them, and they were like, the label told them like, like y'all are like kind of like a fad. So
Yeah.
like we don't see y'all music going anywhere else. But look how many albums them Jokers sold. Look how many like their singles were like they said at
Yeah,
one
they had
point
a
Jay
bunch of
Z
hits.
what they
They had a
said Jay
bunch of
Z
hits.
called him up and was like y'all messing up the money right now. Like,
Mhm.
and they said that they would never sign to a major label. They made the term twerking popular.
Right. Oh yeah, no, but it's like Lil Wayne. He invented the term bling bling.
Yes, he did.
Like that's fucking huge. Bling. Think about everyone and their grandmothers uses the term bling now all over the
Yeah,
world. It's not you say bling to an 80-year-old white lady, she's gonna know exactly what you're talking about. She's gonna
right.
clutch her bling.
Like,
Oh,
look at the Yang Yang Twins. They made that whistle while you twerk.
yeah, and then now twerk twerk. So
Yeah,
yeah, so
that's
but
a Disney song, I believe. Whistle while you work.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it was
whistle while you twerk.
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
So, hey man, take my hats off to him, bro. I can't do nothing but that.
Yeah.
I just never knew they weren't. I just never knew that they weren't signed to a major label.
Yeah, but like even like them Texas cats, like your Slim Thugs and all of them, like they talk about Paul Wall and Chameleon. They talk about staying indie. They talk about not signing to a label, and they make way more money. Like you make way more money if you sell your CD for $10 and you get the whole $10 instead of $1 that you would get, through your record label. He's like,
Right,
just go sell them yourself. You sell 100,000 units through a record label, you don't get shit. You sell
right.
100,000 units through your trunk, you get $1 million,
Yeah, mhm,
right?
it's true.
So you don't even have to go platinum. You will make 1 million. So it's a no brainer. If
Right.
you can put out your music without signing, you're gonna make way more money. The only thing is you won't have a label behind you to give you the big marketing budgets, right? That you would get. But if you get a street buzz, and see now with the internet, that's the thing. They're coming from an era where they had to get out in the hood and pump their CDs. Like they had to get it out and spread it around physically by hand. And then somebody hopefully will play it on the radio or whatever. But even without radio play, they was hustling their tapes and making bank, real bank, just being independent. And now you got the internet. Why sign with a label when I can get 1 million views, 1 million hits on my song just by uploading my song that I made with my phone from my phone? I don't gotta call nobody. I don't gotta be signed by nothing. So, I take my hat off to them in that respect. Like they really created a lane, they created a new way to do it, and that's a hustle. And a lot of cats like from my era back in the day that they would be on right now if they would have had social media back then. But they didn't, so they fizzled out and never made it anywhere because they just didn't get put on. They didn't meet that right person or whatever.
Right.
But that's what I mean by this is like the fans being the artists now. It's like if every fan of hip hop back in the 90s would have put out an album, it would be just as trash as the shit that's coming out now because everyone don't deserve to have an album put out. I mean, come on. Even back in the day, even back when hip hop was brand new, like brand new, KRS said you had to be known in the hood. You had to have a street name to be able to pick up a mic at a party and get on. You know what I mean? Especially like in the Park Jam era. Like you had to be a known cat. You couldn't just walk up and be like open mic, like just pick up the mic and go to rapping. Who the fuck are you? Like you had to be known. You had to be somebody. So, and that then you had to get that to a major label and get it out. Like I mean, Sugar, what's Rapper's Delight, Sugar Hill Gang. They didn't even write them rhymes. They
Mm-mm.
knew cats that knew that they took rhymes from cats they knew from the hood and spit them just because they got the label spot. They got the deal. So they put
Right.
that rhyme out, but they didn't even write that. So it's now the artist is the fan. And this is what we get. We get a lot of fan music. That's basically what this is, fan music. But when you have a Nas still dropping music, I love that. But then I feel like, you have a Dre drop an album like what he just dropped, and I was not like, I mean, Pusha T's last album was better than that. Like I don't even, it wasn't to the caliber, and I think that a lot of these new artists that now they're not even putting out that great of music anymore because look what they have to compete with.
Right.
Anything they put out is dope
Yeah.
compared to what's out.
Lowers the bar. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so we'll definitely check that out Monday. We'll talk about that Monday. I'll send me the album. Can you send me the album? Send me the Nas album.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll chop that up Monday. We got Comics Isles Corporation coming Monday to talk about his new platform. So if you are into buying comic books online, on Instagram, from Whatnot, from eBay, whatever it is like that, there's a new platform that's coming out similar to Whatnot, in that it's a platform designed for selling comics. It will actually have its own comic cryptocurrency and all of that. So we're gonna learn all about that Monday when the guy that's creating that from Dubai is going to do a live interview with us Monday. So we'll definitely learn a lot about that new platform. It'll be cool to know to see something like that develop. And what if it is? What if it is the next Whatnot? And we'll be in all
We
around
hope it
the world.
is.
So that'll be hype.
We hope it is. Yeah, we hope it is.
Yep. All right, y'all. So let's see. Saturday, 6:30 p.m. We'll do DC Day. We got that, and then Monday again, 6:30 p.m. We'll be back here with Comics Out, and then the Monday after that, hopefully, we'll have DJ Juice from Trenton, New Jersey. Is one of the illest DJs period in the game, and definitely one of the first guys to ever blend R&B and hip hop, make blends and stuff like that. Stu knows him pretty well.
The Blend King.
The Blend King, right? I hit him up yesterday, but he was asleep. So I'm gonna hit him up here as soon as we get off here and solidify that. So we'll be talking to Juice next time as well.
All right.
But yeah, man, that is our show, y'all. Thank y'all for coming and chilling and hanging out, man, and learning about Animal Castle and Animal Farm and hip hop and all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time on the 6th element of hip hop. Peace.
Salute.